After kind of a wild couple of days, I think we can turn off the thunder and stop the lightning here for a brief time. Happy weekend, everybody. Let's start out with a look at some of those peak winds from Thursday. This is not Friday. Friday, by the way, we had 52-mile-an-hour wind gusts at Beale City, Kalamazoo Portage, and at Holland, all picking up some strong winds Friday night. But these are the winds Thursday night, and I want to point out where the strongest winds were. They were along the Lakeshore, Muskegon, and Grand Haven, and also in a you could follow a path from Chicago to Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, Benton Harbor, and then up to just around the Lansing area. And that's where you see a lot of the power outages. And I got the power outage map to show you from this would be for Friday evening. And if we take a look at the power outage map, you'll be able to see that there's a lot of outages that still remain this Saturday morning across the Benton Harbor area, Kalamazoo, and up toward Lansing. Really, very few power outages occurred from Grand Rapids to the north and east, or east-northeast anyway. Not many power outages at all in places like Montcalm County, though I think there was a couple of trees down in Vesterberg. But at one point in time, we had about 300,000 customers without power here in Michigan. And the map is from 10:45 on Friday, and we were down to 187. So they had cleaned up, not quite half of them here for Friday. They hope to have everybody back on by Sunday evening or so. So it's going to be a while. We had to kind of slow things down just a bit with some of the stronger winds that came through here Friday evening. But and it will still be breezy here on Saturday. Here's where the severe weather was on Thursday. That's the final map. And one thing I thought was kind of interesting that we had 14 tornadoes, but there were 269 severe weather reports and 269 wind damage reports. You don't see that too often. But you can see the activity was in Minnesota, in Wisconsin, in Illinois, and up here into southern Michigan, and a little bit down in Arkansas. But the big things were the wind damage reports, the severe weather reports, and then small tornadoes. We've had 3 tornadoes confirmed as I write this, and it looks to me that there were probably a couple more. We had tornadoes confirmed in Bedford, in the Galesburg area, and near Charlotte. All those storms indicated that radar indicated that those were tornadoes, as well as looking at some of the damage out there. And we salute the meteorologists who worked that storm, be it on TV or at the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center, for getting the message out. We can have 14 tornadoes and 4-inch diameter hail in Wisconsin and winds to 80 miles an hour, and still we can come out of this without any fatalities, which is really neat. All right, let's move on and take a look at where the severe weather is going to be here the next couple of days. This Saturday afternoon, we got a level 2 or slight risk up there in New England and northeastern New York State. In the Plain States, once again, and they are going to continue to get rocked. There'll be severe weather in the Plain States for the next 4 days. And there's also a small, level 1 risk of a severe thunder shower out there in northern Utah once again. And they tend to get some fairly strong winds. Let's take a look right now at the outlook for Monday, and you can see out in the Plain States once again, and I think this will be the case for Tuesday and Wednesday as well. The good news is all that should stay south of Michigan, and it looks like we will stay on the quiet side here for most all of this coming week. We're going to take a moment out right now and say thank you to our sponsors. Take a listen to this.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help. with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
We certainly thank our sponsors. So look right here at temperatures at noon on Friday, and then in parentheses what the temperature was on Thursday at noon. And you can see the comparison. Kalamazoo on Friday had a temperature at noon of 78, Thursday 76. Excuse me. So it was pretty similar. Grand Rapids 77 on Friday and 78 on Thursday. And up north, Cadillac 73 on Friday and 72 on Thursday. Now we go a little farther north, and look what happened at Mackinac Island. 70 degrees here on Friday, and 48 degrees was the temperature on Thursday. Why such a big difference? Well, it's the wind direction that matters. On Thursday, the cold day, the wind was coming down the full length of Lake Huron. The air was moist. They wound up with low clouds and fog there. Then the wind shifted and came out of the south-southwest, picked up in intensity, so the air wasn't out over the water very long before it got to the island. And look at the difference. So if you're ever planning a trip to Mackinac Island, you might want to check and see which way the wind's blowing, because it might make a difference in what the weather's going to be once you get out there to the island. Okay, let's move on now and take a look at our headlines. Cooler pattern shaping up here for the weekend. You'll notice a difference. We've had 2 days where inland areas have been in the low to mid 80s, and now we're going to have temperatures in the upper 50s and low 60s in the afternoon. So that'll be quite a change. Some people certainly want to keep a jacket handy. The cool air kind of sticks around here for much of this coming week. We may not see 80 again until June. Well, maybe toward the end of the month here, but in any case, cooler weather is going to stick around for a while. And we'll start out cool for Memorial Day weekend, temperatures below average. And then as the weekend progresses, we'll get back up at least near average here. And that last week of May will turn warmer here once again. So, and the weekend right now doesn't look too bad. I don't think I'm going to spend the entire time, swimming in Lake Michigan or anything like that. It'd be kind of chilly for that, but there'll be a lot of times to get out and enjoy Memorial Day weekend. Our Lakeshore Forecast, isn't that a beautiful picture? That's a picture off the Holland webcams. That was from Friday, and I think that's just beautiful. You're seeing the clouds in the distance that came into the area here during the late afternoon and evening. Fewer people there walking around, but still a fair number of people enjoying the tulips that are still in bloom out there at Windmill Island. We're looking for partly sunny, breezy conditions. It may actually be cloudy there in the morning to maybe early afternoon. May reach a high temperature of 60. So if you're viewing the tulips, again, think about a jacket or maybe a sweater or something like that to keep you a bit warmer. Okay, taking a look next at our 66-hour rainfall total. You can see all the rain down in the south, and there'll be the cat's waking up here. Likes that 66-hour rainfall map, I guess. But you can see most all of the country seeing a little bit of rain. Right on the Gulf Coast, it looks like it'll be dry. And then out in the desert Southwest, there'll be a chance of showers at places like Las Vegas, up into Utah. And of course, they'll take any rain they can get out there at pretty much any time of the year. Let's zoom in a little bit and take a look at Michigan and show you what we have here. We're looking for anywhere from 1/10 to 1/2 inch of rain over the next 3 to 4 days. And the further north you are, a little bit more in the way of rain. And some of that will come here during the Saturday. But 1/10 of an inch isn't a lot of rain here, and rainfall total should be pretty light here throughout much of the week. All right, out west, it's still snowing. They're waiting for it to stop, and some of the mountainous areas right there. It's pretty typical, though, of May, where they're still getting snow there. But and I'm going to have to show you this tomorrow night. I got a really beautiful picture to share with you of the Sawtooth Range in Idaho and some of the snow there. That was back in the pictures from back in April. Boy, it looks like January out there. All right, let's go on right now and see what else we have. Our forecast for today: low temperature during the early morning, mid-upper 50s, and the temperature doesn't really go anywhere today. It pretty much stays in the mid-upper 50s to low 60s. probably right at the beaches. It may not get out of the 50s during the afternoon. There will be a morning shower or two, nothing too terribly heavy, and a chance of a shower may linger into the early afternoon, but late afternoon probably the best bet for dry conditions. Humidity a little higher today at 70%, and the wind is going to be a factor out of the west at 15 to 25 miles an hour. I could certainly see some gusts over 30. So again, kind of a breezy day, and that breeze will make you feel just a little bit cooler. We'll take a look at high temperatures here for this weekend. You can see readings here around 60 degrees here during the day. 61 Kalamazoo, 57 at South Haven. And as we flip to Sunday, you're going to see temperatures pretty much the same across the area. There's not much change across the area here for Saturday and Sunday. We'll take a look right now at the 5-day forecast, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have a chance of showers this Saturday, but mainly during the morning. Most of the afternoon could be dry. It will be a breezy to windy day, high 62, a cool day on Sunday. It may be slightly better. The wind may be just slightly less and the temperature a couple degrees warmer, though it will still be cooler at the lake where it may hang in the 50s. Monday at 64 and then only 60 here during the day on Tuesday. Wednesday's temperatures will be in the low 60s. We'll have a chance of a shower or two Tuesday or Wednesday, nothing too terribly heavy, but you can see those temperatures. Average high temperature now for Grand Rapids is 70. So we got 5 days in a row coming when the temperature during the daytime will be cooler than average. And the long range outlook in now, the 8 to 14 day outlook, we're still at below average for the period the 24th through the 30th, and this will likely turn out to be below average for the 24th through the 26th, and then maybe turning near or even above average by the last 3 days of the month. So that's how you can plan things out. Stays warm out in the plain states here and down in southern Florida. In terms of precipitation, we can still see that bubble down there in Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, round after round of thunderstorms down there, and that will likely produce some flooding problems down there. Okay, from Michelle, who is working at the airport tonight, she passes along this question that came in from one of our websites here. Why didn't the cool water of the lake decrease the strength of the storms coming through? That is an excellent question. Well, storms are fed not only by the surface air temperatures, but also what's aloft. And last night, the air aloft was coming in warm and humid, just a little bit above the ground. There was a cool, what we call a marine layer out over the lake. But Gary, Indiana had a temperature of 90, I think it was 91 at 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening with a 70-degree dew point, and the wind was 15, 20 miles an hour. So that air kind of lifted up and got into the thunderstorms here, and they did not diminish as they crossed Lake Michigan. If you remember big storms we've had, like the derecho of 91 and the derecho of 98, those storms not only kept trucking across the lake like it wasn't there, but they also occurred during the rush hour morning hours when you really expect a downtime in terms of thunderstorm activity. So when these storms are relying on features that are occurring above that marine layer out over the lake, they'll just keep moving right along as if nothing's there. So that's most interesting. All right, let's go on and see what else we got here. A picture from Herb Nickel. There are a lot of trees that came down in the Martin area in particular there. And in fact, you can see that the power's out at the marathon. It looks like the power's out. There's some lights there. The sign looks like they've had some problems there, but in any case, a lot of tree damage. I mean, literally thousands of trees were either knocked down, split, uprooted, or kind of snapped off in the storms that we had here. And we thank Herb for that. All right, let's take a look at what's next. May 17, on this date in 1881, a man by the name of Julius Ropes, and by the way, this is from Michelle. She digs this stuff for us. A lot of interesting information about the local area and the state of Michigan. Julius Ropes discovered gold near Ishpeming, which is up near Marquette. He was a chemist and a geologist in the Marquette area. He got $600,000 out of his mine. Can you imagine that? That was a lot of money back in 1881 for sure. He named the operation the Ropes Gold and Silver Company after himself, modest fellow that he was. The operation changed ownership several times. It closed for good in 1991, so it was around for 110 years. Isn't that amazing? It is still Michigan's only profitable gold mine in history. Wow, interesting. All right, let's go on and see what else we got from Michelle here, and Alex, I should add. 1792, the stock market, the stock exchange was formed. You know, that's interesting. I would not have expected it to be up and running in the 1700s. You know, that seems on the early side to me, but no, that's the true answer, 1792. And a big court case came down in 1954, Brown versus Board of Education, ending U.S. public school segregation. So a very significant ruling. And if you go to law school, one of the things you will study is Brown versus Board of Education. All right, let's go on here and take a look. We want to salute the GVSU women's golf champs, and we'll do this out ahead of the LPGA event, which Meyer is bringing to Grand Rapids here on Father's Day and the few days above. By the way, I've said this before, Meyer does an excellent job with that tournament. It really is well run. Provides tickets at a reasonable price. You can bring your kids out there. People bring strollers out there and enjoy the beautiful day. There's food out there at reasonable prices. So, you might want to consider that LPGA event, Meyer Classic, I think it's called. But here we want to salute the golf team at Grand Valley. Second consecutive GLIAC championship. They beat Ferris in the title match. GVSU finished ninth in the NCAA championship. That's really amazing. And you know, it's a really good golfing family is Terry DeBoer's family. Bill and Terry and their three kids are excellent golfers. So interesting. All right, let's move on to, oh, look at that. Who's that? Wow, 95th season for the dune buggy rides at Silver Lake. There ought to be something special going on there for the 100th anniversary. You know, this goes back all the way to when my father spent part of a summer at the old Jack and Jill Ranch in Oceana County up there by Silver Lake and Mears. And they used to ride horses out on the sand out there. So it's interesting. But there was Mac Woods, and then I knew Pete Woods, who took over for Mac, and they're into the third generation right now of running the dune buggy rides, and I really enjoy them. I come up and do one almost every year, or every other year maybe, and we'll see if we can get up there this year. But the Mac Woods dune buggies opening up for their 95th season. Wow. Well, look at that. That's a picture of the family many years ago, I think, without the gray hair, but still had the stash. My wife in the back, Gail, and my three children, Julie, who's sticking her head up above my head, Marie on the left, and Michelle in the middle. That's helping me out with all of our slides here, and works at the airport some nights. But again, we salute the dune buggy rides at Silver Lake. Well, we have the Kite Festival going on this weekend in Grand Haven. And, you know, we brought up my wife's father. One of the things that he wanted to do when he got older at 80 years old was to come to the Kite Festival in Grand Haven and just spend part of a day on the beach. And so we brought him up here for that, and he enjoyed the day, and we enjoyed the day. I will caution you that there's going to be a pretty stiff wind out there at the beach, especially on Saturday. So you might want to, put a cement tail on your kite or something like that, because it's going to be a little trickier to maneuver. But that's 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 11 to 5 on Sunday. We've been out there before a couple of days for that, and it is really a great event. All right, what else we got going on this weekend? The Grand Rapids Neighborhood Summit this afternoon and this morning, 9:30 to 4. At the Pew campus at downtown GVSU. Be sure to register if you can when you get down there. Lots going on. Networking, that's a good thing to do right now. Workshops, fun, presentations, speakers, prizes, and food. All for you at the Grand Rapids Neighborhood Summit, going on from 9:30 to 4 at GVSU downtown. And what else we got going on here this weekend? We got the Cider Festival going on at Rosa Park Circle. That's from 3 to 7 o'clock, and it's for 21 plus only. Even for non-drinkers, you're going to have to be in that 21 plus category. 10 craft cider samples you can take part in. Food trucks will be there, and games as well. So Cider Festival at Rosa Park Circle. And more for you here from Michelle. Grand Rapids Symphony, another great concert going on here this Saturday, 7:30 p.m., featuring Lettuce, a 6-piece funk band. I am not familiar with Lettuce, but let's go to our next slide and see if we can learn something new here. Oh, a question for me. Bill, what is your produce funk band name? Oh, yeah. I've been working on that one for years. You know, if you're a baby boomer, I mean, you got to have your produce funk band name for sure. Let's see. Michelle says, mine is shredded purple cabbage because I seem to like shredded purple cabbage a little bit more than most people. Suggestions on the next page. All right, let's go to the next page and see what the suggestions are. And then she even colored them. Okay, carrot all for a carrot. Okay, that's cool. Bill and the bananas. I guess that works. And tomatoes and tunes. Let me see if I can come up with something. I'll start with my name. Bill's blended beets or something like that. And you can spell beets B-E-A-T like the Beatles did. How about that? Not bad. Okay. All right. Symphony again, 7:30 p.m. And great concert. Hopefully a couple of you will head down there in that direction. It is May 17th. Who is the 17th president? You know, I can figure that out because I know who the 16th president was. Most people do. He was pretty famous. Then you kind of go back or forth. So if you're going one past Abraham Lincoln, you would get to Andrew Johnson. So let's take a look at the next slide. And drum roll. It is Andrew Johnson. And that's truly how I would figure that out because Lincoln was 16. Okay. But there he is sitting in his chair. He doesn't look too terribly happy at the moment, but he was our 17th president. Okay, on to John Scully's picture of the day, and we've got a nice swan out there. I had an encounter with a swan once. I came around a corner, and there was a swan's nest there, and the swan was not particularly happy that I was invading its territory, so I kind of vamoosed pretty quickly here out of its way. But they are beautiful birds. We have the mute swans and the trumpeter swans in Michigan from time to time. And so we salute John for that. And we got some blossoms to show you. The blossoms have been out this week. They were a little fast in coming and going with the warmer air pattern that we've had here. I think the farmers would have enjoyed having another day of the blossoms out there. And there's still some out there for you to see. The apple blossoms here are beautiful white color. And some of them, of course, are still around. This is from John Doherty, who's up in Benzie County. So I think we have come to the end of our weather journey today. I'll end by wishing you all a wonderful weekend. And I hope you'll join us again over the weekend and next week. Have a good